The storm clouds rolled over the small town like a slowly tightening fist, casting long shadows over the quiet streets. The emergency dispatch center hummed with blinking lights and soft radio chatter. Routine calls, nothing unusual. Then the phone rang with a sharp, trembling urgency. A frightened boy's voice shook through the line. Please help me. Something's kicking in my belly. The dispatcher froze. The voice sounded no older than 10. His breath was ragged, scared, fading in and out as though he was struggling to stay upright. She asked him gently where he was, what was happening, whether he was hurt. It hurts, the boy whispered. Please. I think something's inside me. Her hand trembled as she typed. This wasn't a prank. His fear was raw, real. She immediately dispatched units, but protocol required details. She steadied her breath and asked for his name. Eli. He breathed. My name is Eli. From the background she heard a faint rustling noise. A thump, then a whimper. She asked him if someone was with him. No, he whispered. But something is moving under my shirt. Her heart stopped. She signaled the K9 unit nearby, Officer Reed and his loyal German shepherd, Shadow. She also sent Officer Meyer on horseback, the mounted unit patrolling just 2 streets away. Reed grabbed the radio, eyebrows tightening. A child in distress. Possible medical emergency. Possible abuse. Nothing was off the table. Shadow barked once. Sharp, focused, as if sensing the urgency. Meanwhile Officer Meyer pulled the reins of her horse, Valor, her expression turning grave. Mounted units often found things cars couldn't. And for some reason, a child alone with that kind of fear made her chest twist. The dispatcher tried keeping Eli awake. His breathing grew more labored, broken by small gasps. It's kicking again, he sobbed. It hurts, please hurry. Then suddenly she heard him cry out. Hi, terrified, fading. The line went silent. Her heart pounded. Units were ordered to step it up to emergency response. Shadow sprinted ahead as Reed followed, boots splashing against puddles forming on the asphalt. The rain began to fall in cold sheets, making everything darker, heavier. Reed's flashlight cut through the shadows as they approached the coordinates the dispatcher supplied. Meyer arrived from the opposite direction, Valor's hooves clapping in quick urgency. She spotted Reed's light. Anything, not yet, he muttered. Shadow's tracking. Shadow suddenly slowed, nose brushing the wet ground, then lifting toward an old, abandoned convenience store. He growled, low, protective, warning. Reed's throat tightened. Shadow has something. They approached cautiously, Meyer dismounting with a soft pat to Valor's neck. The old store looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Windows cracked, door barely hanging. The wind whistled through it like a whisper from the past. Shadow whimpered softly. Then they heard it. A faint cry. Very faint. Reed rushed inside. His flashlight caught a small figure curled against a dusty aisle shelf. Thin, filthy, shaking. Eli, Reed whispered. Hey, buddy, we're here. The boy lifted his head weakly. His face was pale, lips cracked, eyes swollen from crying. His shirt was stretched strangely around his stomach. He clutched it like he was holding something in. Is it gone? He asked in a trembling whisper. Reed knelt beside him. What's kicking in your belly, kiddo? Are you hurt? Did someone do something to you? Eli slowly lifted his shirt. Both officers gasped, not out of horror, out of heartbreak. A tiny, trembling creature curled against the boy's fragile ribs. A newborn puppy, blind, barely breathing, so small it could fit in one hand. Its tiny paws twitched weakly against Eli's skin. Meyer covered her mouth. Oh my God. Eli broke into tears. I didn't know what to do. It was so cold outside, and the mama dog got hit by a car. I tried to keep the baby warm but he sobbed harder. It started moving and I thought it was dying. I thought it was kicking because it was hurt. I didn't want it to die. I didn't want to lose it. Reed placed a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. Eli, you were keeping it alive. You saved it. Shadow nudged forward and sniffed the tiny puppy, then gently licked its head. The newborn gave a faint squeak. Eli gasped softly, hope flickering in his frightened eyes. But Reed saw another truth. The boy looked starved, exhausted, drenched from rain. His clothes were oversized, torn, mismatched. He wasn't just cold. He was malnourished. Scared. Alone. Eli, Reed said softly, where's your family, buddy? Eli's shoulders shook. I don't have any. I live here. I try to hide when people come. I'm sorry I called 911. I just didn't want the puppy to die. I thought maybe God sent it to me because I was lonely. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Reed felt his throat tighten painfully. He lifted Eli carefully, wrapping his jacket around him. Maya draped a warm blanket from her saddle over both the boy and the puppy. Vala lowered his head gently toward Eli, snorting softly as if offering comfort. Eli looked up at them with wide, scared eyes. Am I in trouble for calling? No, Reed whispered. You're in safe hands now. They brought him outside where paramedics had arrived. Eli's small fingers clung to the puppy like it was his lifeline. The medics examined him, dehydrated, mildly hypothermic, severely underfed. But alive. Eli's gaze shifted between the officers. Please don't take him away. He's all I have. Maya knelt in front of him and wiped his tears gently. He stays with you, I promise. The hospital room later that night was warm and filled with soft beeping monitors. Eli lay under a thick blanket, the puppy nestled in a tiny towel beside him. Shadow lay on the floor, refusing to leave the doorway. Vala waited outside the window, his silhouette visible under the street lamp. Eli looked around cautiously. Do I have to go back to the streets? Reed sat beside the bed, leaning forward. You're not going back there. We're going to help you. You're getting a home, a family. A tear slipped down Eli's cheek. Why? Why are you being so nice to me? Because, Reed said, voice thick with emotion, you deserve it. The puppy whimpered softly and the nurse came in with a tiny bottle to feed it. Eli watched with wonder, hope replacing fear inch by inch. A social worker entered, gentle and kind. She spoke quietly with Reed and Maya. Eli couldn't hear the words but saw their eyes. They were determined, fighting for him. Then Reed returned to the bed and smiled at him. Eli, you won't be alone another night. Not ever again. Eli swallowed hard. Can I stay with you? Reed glanced at Maya, both of them already emotionally undone by the little boy. Reed's voice cracked. We'll figure it out. But you're family now. You're safe. Hours passed. The storm cleared. The sky softened to a pale silver. The next morning, the doctor walked in smiling. Good news. Eli is stable. Answer is your tiny friend. Eli beamed, a smile so pure it shattered every heart in the room. The officers brought him outside in a wheelchair to get fresh air. Shadow walked beside him proudly. Vala lowered his head so Eli could pet him. The puppy, healthier already, wiggled its tiny paws happily from Eli's chest. Eli looked around at the officers, the animals, the sky clearing above him. It feels like a miracle, he whispered. Reed placed a hand on his shoulder. Sometimes miracles show up small and wrapped in fur. Eli hugged the puppy close, burying his face in its warmth. For the first time, I'm not scared anymore. And for the first time in a long time, the officers realized something too. They hadn't just saved a boy. A boy had saved them. A tiny heartbeat kicking against a lonely child's chest had brought them all together, reminding them what hope looked like, fragile, trembling, but alive. And that day, in the soft glow after the storm, a new family was born. Not by blood, but by love, rescue, and a miracle that fit in the palm of a child's hand.